In a previous lesson, we learned how to create a cover template using Ingram Spark. In this lesson, I want to go through some covers that I have actually created. I want to review the covers, show you different elements using an image editing software like Adobe Photoshop. As part of your documents, I have created a bonus material folder, and inside of there, I've included book covers. There are 3 book covers in all. The titles of the files correspond to the ISBN number of those files. I've chosen these file names in connection with guidelines outlined by Ingram Spark. So let's open the first front cover. In a previous lesson, we've also used an online cover generator like Canva, but we're using editing software on our desktop. Here's an example of a cover I created for a book named Men and Misfits. This is Adobe Photoshop. I have some menus and toolbars to the top. I have icons on the left to quickly access tools. For example, there's a magnifying glass that I could quickly zoom in. And I also have windows on the right-hand side here that includes tools like layers that I could show and hide different elements. The purpose of this exercise isn't to establish how to create a book cover, but just to walk you through Adobe Photoshop, highlighting different aspects, just in case you have image editing software. If I were to hide elements regarding the back cover, you would see the template begin to reveal itself. Like the cover generator for KDP, the cover generator for Ingram Spark includes a template that shows you where the spine goes, where the bleed areas are using blue, and different descriptions regarding barcode placement and so forth. This is the front cover. Here is the book title. Here are some images that I downloaded and I attributed in the body of the book called Men and Misfits. Here's the author title and the back of the book. The back of the book has a quote from one of the stories. There is no blurb. There's information about the publisher's website. So if I show these different elements, our cover comes into perspective. An image editing software would also have additional features where you could create grid lines. Notice these horizontal and vertical blue lines that I have. I originally included these in the documents to outline my safe areas versus my bleed. And I use it to highlight where, for instance, the top of my title goes. So this is one of the benefits of using an image editing software that allows you additional features like creating grid lines to support your work and your alignment. Looking back, this is a book cover that I am not pleased with. And in one of the exercises, I want to have this done by a professional graphic designer that I find online and hire. Here's the information on the spine. On the spine, I have the title of the book. There's an additional icon that I included and the author's name along with the imprint's logo, Potbake Productions. Pay attention to the bottom of the book where I have these horizontal grid lines. Notice the symmetry between the layout of the bottom of the text on the front cover and the bottom of the text and ISBN on the back cover. That's our first cover. The second cover is for a book called The Ghost of Cora. The title spans the entire front cover. Then there's text to the back of the book. The blurb to the back of the book, the font size was a little too big. So I just want to double click that layer, which is highlighted. And it tells me that the font family is League Spartan and the font size is 14. If I had to make any changes to this back cover, I would change the size of the text and I would definitely bring it a little bit away from the margin. In the physical copy of this book, the text is very close to the edges of the safe area. So if I had to change this cover, I would definitely look at the font family that I used on the blurb and the front cover. I would decrease the size of the text on the back cover. I would reconsider changing the font type as well. for the blurb on the back cover. The third cover is a book called Jewels of the Caribbean. It is an anthology with stories from maybe 12 different Caribbean writers. In this book, the winning story is a story about a little girl on a dock that she's taken care of. So this imagery introduces us to the protagonist, two of the protagonists, the little girl and her father. In terms of imagery, there's definitely a connection that the reader could make. The name Jewels of the Caribbean, notice the font color, the type of font that we've chosen. To the back, I focus on a review, and then there is the blurb. To the bottom quarter of the back cover, I've included the imprint, the name, website, the ISBN and barcode. The spine contains the title of the book and the imprint's logo. Once again, I have used grid lines to align the text on the front cover and the back cover. For example, the bottom of the front cover where it says West Indian Short Stories aligns to the bottom of the barcode on the back cover, and the publisher, imprint and logo on the spine aligns with the publisher's name and website on the back cover. Using an image editing software has clear advantages over the online versions in terms of the tools that you have access to and the ability to show and hide different layers. The good ones cost money.